Welcome to WC Worth Coins. If you love rare, historical, and valuable coins, you're in the right place. Don't forget to watch the full video, share it with fellow collectors, like and subscribe to support the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you top-quality numismatic content. Thank you. Now, without further delay, let's get started. The 1971 10 new pence coin stands as a symbol of a transformative period in British numismatic history, ushering in the United Kingdom's shift from the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a streamlined decimal currency system. Officially introduced on February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, this coin was one of the cornerstone denominations of the new decimal series, replacing the traditional 2-shilling coin, or florin, which held an equivalent value of 1/5 of a pound sterling. The obverse of the 1971 10 new pence coin features the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by artist and sculptor Arnold Machin. This elegant effigy, used from 1968 until 1984, depicts the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a favorite piece of jewelry that was gifted to her grandmother Queen Mary in 1893. Around the edge of the obverse are the Latin inscriptions: Elizabeth II, DG Reg FD 1971. Translated, this stands for Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia, Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Each part of the inscription reflects the historical and constitutional roles of the British monarch, rooted in centuries of royal and religious tradition, particularly the Defender of the Faith title, originally bestowed on Henry VIII by Pope Leo VI in 1521. The reverse of the coin, designed by Christopher Ironside, showcases a crowned lion, a symbol traditionally associated with British heraldry, strength, and monarchy. This design, known formally as a lion passant guardant, was inspired by the lion featured in the Royal Arms of England, a motif that dates back to the reign of Richard the Lionheart in the 12th century. The words "new pence" are prominently displayed above the lion with the denomination 10 below, emphasizing the decimal nature of the currency. This wording, "new pence," was specifically used during the transition phase from old to decimal coinage, 1971-1981, to distinguish the decimal coins from earlier pre-decimal issues. The planchets for the 10 new pence coins were composed of cupro nickel, an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its silver-like appearance and durability essential for circulation. Weighing 11.31 grams and measuring 28.5 millimeters in diameter, the 1971 10 new pence coin was relatively large by modern standards. In fact, its size and weight later became the subject of reconsideration, as many people and vending machines found it inconvenient. This ultimately led to the coin being resized in 1992 to a smaller version, and the older large-size coins, like the 1971 issue, were demonetized in 1993, meaning they ceased to be legal tender. This makes surviving examples of the original 1971 issue relics of an important numismatic transition, and now of interest primarily to collectors and historians. Although hundreds of millions of these coins were minted for circulation, specifically 336, 143, 250 in 1971 alone, they are not rare in the sense of scarcity, but they hold historical significance as the inaugural decimal issue of the 10p denomination. From a numismatic standpoint, circulated examples are generally very affordable and can be found in bulk, especially within the UK or from international sellers who acquired them through travel. However, uncirculated or proof versions struck for presentation or collector sets can fetch a premium, especially when preserved in original packaging or certified by third-party grading services. Though not a coin that will make a collector rich, the 1971 10 new pence is immensely popular among decimal-era collectors and those who study the history of British currency reform. It also holds nostalgic value for many Britons who experienced Decimal day and the cultural adjustments that came with learning a new monetary system. Some educational materials from the period even included sample sets of the new coins, and the 10 new pence was a centerpiece of those materials. This coin also marked the beginning of a new design era in British coinage, emphasizing clean lines, symbolic imagery, and clear denomination values. Christopher Ironside, who designed the reverse, had submitted a full series of reverse designs for the decimal coinage, and although only some of his designs were used, his work on the 10p remains one of the most iconic. The lion design, while simple, effectively conveyed national pride, continuity, and power. Over time, public opinion on the design and the use of the words new pence evolved, and in 1982, the reverse inscription was changed to simply read 10 pence, reflecting the end of the transitional period. However, the original 1971 version remains a beloved emblem of that monumental change. In conclusion, the 1971 10 new pence coin is more than just a piece of metal. It's a snapshot of Britain during a time of modernization, a representation of monarchic continuity through Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, and a symbol of a nation's adaptation to global economic trends. Its place in the decimalization process ensures it will always be a vital component of British numismatic history. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a curious historian, the 1971 10p offers a gateway into understanding how coins can reflect social change, economic policy, artistry, and national identity, all within a few grams of expertly minted metal. The 1968 10 new pence coin is a remarkable piece of British numismatic history, not only for its intrinsic design and symbolism, but also for its pivotal role in preparing the public for one of the most dramatic monetary reforms the United Kingdom had ever undertaken: decimalization. While the official decimal day did not arrive until February 15, 1971, the 10 new pence coin was actually issued 3 years earlier in 1968 as part of a gradual transition strategy to familiarize the British public with the forthcoming decimal coinage. This coin was one of the first 2 decimal coins introduced, the other being the 5 new pence, and together they marked the beginning of the end for the ancient pounds, shillings, and pence system, which had been in use since the Middle Ages. The 10 new pence coin was introduced as a direct replacement for the florin, the 2-shilling coin, with an identical value of 1/5 of a pound or 0.10 GBP. The coin was identical in size, weight, and metal composition to the florin, a deliberate choice to ensure compatibility with coin-operated machines and public confidence in the changeover process. The obverse of the 1968 10 new pence coin features the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, crafted by the sculptor Arnold Machine. This effigy, introduced in 1968 and used until 1984, is known for its elegant, regal, and youthful portrayal of the monarch. Her Majesty is depicted wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a much-loved and iconic piece of royal jewelry originally gifted to Queen Mary in 1893 and later passed down to Elizabeth II. The portrait is surrounded by the Latin legend Elizabeth II D.G. Reg. F.D. 1968, which stands for Elizabeth II de Gratia Regina Fide Defensor. Translated, this means Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith, a formal titulature steeped in British monarchical and religious tradition. These inscriptions connect the coin not only to Elizabeth II personally, but also to centuries of English and British sovereign history, reflecting the constitutional and spiritual roles of the monarch. The reverse of the coin was designed by Christopher Ironside, a respected British artist and heraldic designer. It features a bold and powerful image of a lion passant guardant, a lion walking with one forepaw raised and facing forward. This image has long been associated with English royal heraldry, appearing on coats of arms as far back as the Plantagenet period. Above the lion, the words "new pence" are inscribed, a crucial distinction at the time to denote the coin as part of the new decimal system. Below the lion appears the number 10, indicating the denomination. The entire reverse design is sharp, symmetrical, and exudes a sense of strength and tradition, making it one of the most memorable of the decimal era. The choice of the lion, a historic and enduring symbol of England, was deliberate. It served to convey national identity and reassure the public during a time of major economic change. In terms of specifications, the 1968 10 new pence coin was struck in cupro nickel, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gave the coin a bright, silver-like appearance and made it both durable and resistant to corrosion. The coin has a diameter of 28.5 millimeters, a weight of 11.31 grams, and a milled edge, all identical to the florin it replaced. These features were intended to minimize confusion, especially for older citizens and users of vending machines or public transport services. The introduction of this coin ahead of Decimal Day allowed the British government, the Royal Mint, and businesses time to gradually recalibrate machines, educate the public, and phase in the new monetary logic before the full switch took place. In 1971, although dated 1968, these coins were not initially released into general circulation, but rather included in special pre-decimal coin sets and used in controlled trials. Some coins made their way into circulation in the following years, especially in 1969 and 1970, and became fully accepted legal tender with the arrival of Decimal Day. In fact, the 1968 10p coin is sometimes regarded as a transitional issue, acting as both a collector's item and a prelude to widespread decimal adoption. From a mintage perspective, the 1968 dated 10p coin had a high production volume. 336,043,150 coins were minted, most of which would eventually enter circulation. Due to this large mintage, circulated examples are common and inexpensive on the collector's market. However, coins in mint state or uncirculated condition, particularly those in official Royal Mint packaging or proof sets, are more desirable and can command higher prices depending on condition and rarity. From a collector's viewpoint, the 1968 10 new pence coin holds particular charm due to its status as the first of its kind, the very beginning of the decimal currency era in Britain. It represents a critical turning point in British economic history when the country modernized its monetary system in line with global standards. This move was both practical and symbolic, aligning the UK with European norms and simplifying transactions, accounting, and education. The coin's design, blending traditional symbolism with modern clarity, exemplifies how the Royal Mint handled this balance. Over the years, the large 10 new pence coin remained in circulation until it was reduced in size in 1992, when a smaller, more convenient version was introduced to address issues of bulk and compatibility with smaller change. By 1993, the large format 10p coins were demonetized, meaning they were no longer legal tender. Nevertheless, collectors still value these coins for their historic importance. In conclusion, the 1968 10 new pence coin is far more than a basic unit of currency. It represents a pivotal moment in British history, a gateway between the traditional and the modern, between the familiar and the new. With its regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, strong heraldic lion design, and role in the decimalization process, it embodies the careful planning and symbolism that surrounded this national transformation. For collectors, educators, and historians alike, this coin provides a tangible link to a time of change, modernization, and national identity, encapsulated in a small yet significant piece of metal. Whether held in a plastic sleeve, displayed in a proof set, or found tucked away in a box of old coins, the 1968 10 new pence coin continues to tell a rich and enduring story more than half a century after its creation. The 1992 10 new pence coin holds a unique and transitional place in the narrative of British coinage, symbolizing not only the modernization of the United Kingdom's currency system, but also the culmination of decades of evolution in design, utility, and monetary policy. This particular coin, dated 1992, marks the first year of issue of the smaller-sized 10 pence, replacing the larger version that had been in circulation since decimalization began in 1971. The earlier 10p coin was originally introduced in 1968, with the same dimensions as the pre-decimal florin, measuring 28.5 millimeters in diameter and weighing 11.31 grams. However, by the late 1980s and early 1990s, the need for smaller, more efficient coinage, better suited for modern vending machines, wallets, and commercial use, had become apparent. This led to the introduction of a reduced-size version of the 10 pence piece, and the 1992 issue was the very first of this revised format. The coin now measured 24.5 millimeters in diameter, weighed 6.5 grams, and retained its cup-row nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel, ensuring its silver appearance remained familiar to users. The obverse of the 1992 10 new pence coin features the timeless second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maklouf, which had been introduced in 1985 and remained in use until 1997. This particular effigy is known for its stately and detailed depiction of the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, an ornate and symbolic piece set with diamonds, crosses, and floral emblems of the United Kingdom. The Queen's dignified expression and elaborate regalia convey authority, continuity, and tradition. Surrounding the portrait is the customary legend, Elizabeth II, DG Reg FD 1992, which stands for Elizabeth Thecu de Gratia Regina Fidei, Defensor, translating to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription is deeply rooted in monarchical history and constitutional law, symbolizing the Queen's role as both sovereign and spiritual. Protector of the Church of England, the use of Latin, despite growing modern sensibilities, continues to lend a sense of classical gravitas and formality to British coinage. On the reverse, the coin retained the classic design created by Christopher Ironside, a heraldic lion passant, guardant, or a lion, walking with one paw raised and its face turned toward the viewer. This design, drawn directly from the royal arms of England, is a powerful and centuries-old symbol of courage, strength, and national identity. Above the lion is the inscription New Pence, and beneath it is the number 10, clearly denoting the denomination. It is important to note that 1992 was the final year the phrase New Pence was used on the 10p coin. Starting in 1993, the legend was changed to simply read 10 pence, marking the end of the transitional nomenclature that had begun in 1971 to distinguish decimal coins from the old currency system. This seemingly small detail makes the 1992 issue historically significant. It's the last of the New Pence series and the first of the small-size format, creating a compelling duality that makes it highly attractive to collectors interested in transitional issues. From a mintage and circulation standpoint, the 1992 10 new pence coin was not produced for general circulation in large quantities. In fact, the standard 1992 10p coin was issued only in Royal Mint collector sets and not released into everyday use, making it a low mintage coin and relatively scarce compared to previous years. While tens of millions of large 10p coins had been struck annually in earlier years, the 1992 small-sized version is now highly sought after by decimal collectors, especially in brilliant uncirculated BU condition or within original mint sets. Proof versions of the coin, particularly those struck in high-quality finishes for commemorative sets, are also desirable and often command a premium on the secondary market. The coin's rarity among circulation issues adds to its allure. Many members of the public never saw or handled this version of the 1992 10p at the time of issue, contributing to its mystique. The decision to shrink the 10p coin was not made lightly. Public opinion had grown critical of the large size of certain coins, especially as everyday transactions began to favor portability and convenience. Furthermore, vending machines, coin-operated devices, and transport systems had been increasingly automated and computerized, necessitating coinage that was standardized, lightweight, and compatible with modern mechanisms. The smaller size of the new 10p coin reduced production costs, improved usability, and aligned better with the updated 5p coin, which had been similarly reduced in 1990. Thus, the 1992 coin became part of a larger overhaul of British currency aimed at future-proofing the coinage system. Although the older large 10p coins remained legal tender until 1993, they were gradually withdrawn and eventually demonetized, further enhancing the collectible status of the final small-sized new pence coin of 1992. In summary, the 1992 10 new pence coin encapsulates a significant moment of transition in British monetary history, a perfect example of form following function, where economic practicality met with the need for historical continuity. It stands at the crossroads of tradition and modernization, retaining Ironside's lion reverse and the Queen's formal title while ushering in a new, more efficient era of coinage. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts, this coin represents more than just 10p of monetary value. It tells a story of national identity, economic adaptation, and numismatic evolution. Its limited release, unique position as both the first of the small format and last of the new pence series, and its continued interest among collectors make it a standout issue among modern British coins. Holding a 1992 10 new pence coin is like holding the last breath of the past and the first step into the future, a tangible marker of a country's ongoing journey through time, commerce, and cultural expression.